Well, good day. Welcome back to Restorooster OHV. You're gonna have to pardon me a little bit. I'm just getting over some flu mung a little bit, so I haven't got my voice back completely. I'm gonna try to keep the talking to a minimum, but today's project is gonna be this 2001 Kawasaki KX250 two-stroker. Stay tuned. Well, this story starts with a gentleman who just bought the bike not too long ago. It does run and ride, as you can see from the video, that it's got a little bit of a lean roll, so it's definitely going to need a little bit of carburetor work. This thing's extremely hard to kickstart. There's something going on in the kickstart mechanism or transmission. The reason why he's selling it is he says that he changed the oil in it. The oil was very dark and it had a lot of very fine, not flake so much, but a very fine, like bronze metal. Okay, and the clutch feels a little weird, so I'm going to lean towards the clutch on this. As I take you around the bike, you'll see on the clutch cover on the outer side, somebody's already done some JB welding over there, so something failed inside. Also, the radiator, when it sits here and runs, it drips a little bit, so we have a leaky radiator as well. The front forks going to need a little bit of a rebuild, but other than that, I mean, you know, minus some cosmetic stuff, the bike actually is pretty good shape, and it's got a ton of compression. So let's go ahead and walk around this thing. She's definitely going to need some rear brakes. The chain's definitely got some play and the sprockets have some wear. Shifter's a little bit loose. So you got some aftermarket reeds in there. The cylinder looks pretty clean, so this thing might have just been done on the top. The little brass nut in the tank missing. New fancy grips. Actually hate them. They're too slippery. The front brakes look decent. Pipe has some dings and dents in it. Definitely looks like it's leaking a little bit of oil. Like I said, he just changed the oil. But I'm going to take this cover off and drain it and take a look at that to make sure we're not getting any water inside the transmission case. This is what I'm talking about. This has all been JB welded over here. Got the wrong bolt for the kicker, and that looks like it's ready to fall out. A few bolts missing here and there on the exhaust pipe. First thing I want to do is I'm going to drain this engine back down. We're going to get this case off, and we're going to get this inner clutch case off and take a look at what we have here. Drain plug was barely hand tight, ready to fall out. Now that oil looks pretty clean. No water in it. Kickstarter must have broken hit the case. And now it's jammed into the clutch basket, and it's shredding and making metal shavings in the engine. Let's get this clutch cover off. Yeah, that's definitely been dragging. Let me go ahead and pull the spark plug out of this thing, and let's rotate it over a little bit, see how she spins. I'm going to go ahead and pull the clutch apart so we can get a closer look inside of here. Little trick with these is go in a star pattern across from each other and go out slowly. This will keep from warping anything in here. Definitely see these steel plates really burned up, discolored. So we'll go ahead and put a clutch in this thing also. Oh, this thing stinks. Pieces of metal down inside the motor. So basically this whole assembly just fell apart in my hands. The little clip is off of it. All the kicker gears look pretty good and they all seem to be working fine. So, on another good note is the inside of this engine is super clean. So what I'm going to order for this side is inner and outer clutch covers, and of course the clutch friction disc kit and a new Kickstarter. Doing a little bit of research and looking around online. These cases, this inner clutch case is a little bit difficult to get, so I'm going to go ahead and do the right thing and repair this, but I'm going to actually repair it properly. First thing is clean it all up and get all the old junk off of it. So a big chip actually came off, but that's okay because it was rolled in pretty bad, and we'll just rebuild this whole lip properly. So it looks like we got a pretty decent amount of clearance between the clutch basket and the case. At this point, we'll go ahead and clean all this up real good, and we'll do our JB Weld repair. But I want to make sure that it actually matches up with the cover fairly well as well. So what we want to do is just test this too to make sure we should be good on clearance. So looks good. We'll go ahead and fill that hole. Now I'm going to try to do is build a piece of aluminum to bridge this gap. So I'm just going to measure it out. What I'll do is I'll cut this piece off. I'll conform it to the inside of this, and then I can mark it out, cut it out, fit it right in there. So what I'm going to do is bend this sort of in the radius of this case. And I just did that in the vise by just slowly tapping it, moving it out, tapping it, moving it out. So remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. Pretty close. This cover, the hole's not really big enough, and the JB Weld will fill that just fine. We're going to do the inside and the outside, but we'll start by filling with the outside right now. Now this is certainly going to take a few coats. We'll let this cure, sand it down, see if we need any more touch up on the outside. If not, we'll go ahead and move to the inside, pull the tape off, and do our coating on the inside. While I was waiting for the repair on my side covers to cure, I went ahead and ripped into the carburetor, and it was pretty clean and jetted properly. However, the air screw, which allows the amount of fuel to come in for the idle circuit, was cranked all the way in, which means at maximum richness. What we heard at the beginning with this engine running, it seemed like it had sort of a lean roll, so it was like always up on a knee. It just like wouldn't idle down and be nice. So a couple of reasons that could cause that. Obviously, a dirty carburetor will cause that issue, and it could have been. I mean, I did clean it. It didn't look too bad. Also, with these two strokes, they're super picky. Okay, the transmission side is totally separate from the crankcase side. Okay. There's no engine oil in the crankcase side whatsoever. That's why we mix 2-cycle oil with our fuel. So it's 100% imperative that this entire side is sealed. It has to be sealed off from the transmission side and also to the outside. Now, while I have all this apart, I'm going to go ahead and do what they call a smoke test on this. And what I'm using is just a smoke leak detector. I picked this thing up off the Jungle website. It was fairly inexpensive, $100 or something like that. And what it does is use an electric current and some shop air to produce a smoke. Looking like Halloween in here. So what we're going to do is stick this little probe down in the spark plug hole. And at this point here, I've already got the intake and the exhaust blocked off. So nothing should escape. As you can see, we got a little bit of smoke coming out around here. Just not getting a great seal in the spark plug hole. But I'm also noticing some smoke coming out around my exhaust gasket here, which is not a major big deal. We'll replace those O-rings when I get the gasket kit in. What's going to be critical is gaskets for your intake around your base, between the crankcases, and especially the seals around your flywheel and on the other side with the crankshaft. And I'm not seeing any smoke coming out around here, which is great. Nothing along the base gasket. Since our 2-cycle uses the top of the combustion chamber and also underneath the piston for its air fuel charge, any leaks on your intake gasket, your cylinder base gasket, head gasket, crankshaft seals will cause a lean condition. It will suck air in. This one seems to be pretty good all the way around, so I feel pretty confident it's just the carburetor was probably a little bit dirty. Well, now that we got our new factory spec high performance imported clutch kit, I think this run me $20 shipped, so it probably won't last more than one ride, but the frictions all look right and we have the right amount. So first thing we want to do with these is get them in a bath of clean engine oil or ATF if you run ATF in your transmission. Let these things soak for about a half an hour and absorb that oil. All right, got our clutch installed, got ourselves the correct kicker. Our repair is done on the case. Now I could have probably painted this case a silver or something like that, but it actually looks pretty good. And of course, we did the repair on this one. I just hit it with some brown spray paint that's similar to what they use on the valve covers and the side covers on the newer KXs, 450s, 250s. So here's our repair, smooth, clean. Well, here it is, all done. 2001 KX250. Did the repairs on the case, came out beautiful. Went ahead and replaced the clutch. Still have the same grips on here, but I put new plastics on it, changed the seat cover, new chain, couple other things, and she runs absolutely fantastic. Tons of power. This bike's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll probably hang on to this one for a little bit. I get sort of nostalgic, as you can tell by the color of my hair. I grew up riding 2-strokes. 4-strokes were just like kind of a woods bike back in the day. Nothing considered race. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my 450, but sometimes I have that old nostalgic feeling like I want a 2-stroke again. So I'll keep this one, ride it for a little bit, and then I'll be like, yeah, I like my 4-stroke better, and I'll probably end up selling it. But I got a friend of mine who not a big fan of the 2-stroke. He doesn't like the sound, but he feels like they don't have any power. So I'm excited to get him out on the track on this bike here and change his mind a little bit, because this bike's got a lot of power and it's a lot of fun to ride. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. If you haven't already, consider throwing me a subscription. I'd love a thumbs up if you like this video or anything I did helped you. Go ahead and comment if you got any questions, and I'll get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.